Hey, hello, kids. Come inside. Come sit down. I know you can't wait to hear the rest of Gatir Elnada's story. Part two is going to be very enjoyable. So I am ready if you are. Are you ready? Yeah. Okay. All right. Last time we were up to when the prince took Gatir Elnada to the palace and she met his parents, and his mother wasn't happy because she wanted him to marry her niece. But anyway, the prince and Gatir Elnada did get married. Inside the palace, the mother-in-law was treating Gatir Elnada badly. She never accepted her. And her niece, can you see her? Yeah, here she is. Look at her. She wasn't a nice person. She was a snob. Because she is a princess of, from a country next door. Her father is a king. And she's always a snob. And she used to look at Gatir Elnada with lots of envy and bad eye and jealous of her. So together, the mother-in-law and her niece, they sat down to come up with a plan to get rid of Gatir Elnada for good. And the plan was, when the prince go to Hajj, and usually they do go to Hajj, the prince and his father, once every year, and the Hajj trip takes really long time, sometimes 2, 3 months, 4 months. So they decided is when they go to Hajj, the prince is not here anymore, we will get rid of Gatir Elnada. We're going to kick her out to go back to the forest where she came from, and we're going to kill a lamb and build a grave in the backyard, put the lamb in the grave. So when the prince come back from Hajj, we tell him, oops, sorry, your wife died, and that's her grave. And then eventually he'll come over it and he will marry the niece. That was their plan. So they carried on with the plan, and the prince was getting ready to go to Hajj with his father, the sultan, and everybody was really excited about going to Hajj, except Gatir Elnada. She was so sad to say goodbye to the prince, and she knew, she felt it, that they are cooking something and they will hurt her when the prince is not here to protect her. Once the prince gone in his journey, the mother-in-law came and she told Gatir Elnada to leave the palace and never come back again. She said to her, if you came back, I'm going to kill you. And you have to leave if you love my son. And if you want what's good for him, you have to sacrifice. So go back to the forest and don't come back, because you're bad luck for him. If he married his cousin, he will live a happier life, because he can be the king of 2 countries. Gatir Elnada was crying and sad. She packed her things up and she went to the forest. She was happy there in the forest with her friends, the animals, the peacock and the eagle and the goat and the swan. She was very happy to see them. And she sat there playing with them all day and crying all night because she's missing the prince. She misses her husband. And then one day, after maybe 4, 5, 6 months, she was sitting on where the lake is, on the sand, playing with the sand. And while she was playing with the sand, she finds something metal. She pulled it up and it was a ring, but it was full of dirt and rust. So she rubbed it, and guess what happened? A genie came out of the ring, and he said, "Your wish is my command. You are my master. Ask me anything you want." So she did. She said, instead of this, whatever you call it, it's not even a house, I want a palace. And I want that palace to be next door to the Sultan's palace. And I want it to be magical. Never ever happened before that mankind saw a palace like this. I want it to be full of magic. If I ask something to happen, it will happen on its own. I just give orders. Door open, and the door will open. Window shut, and the window will shut. Chair, come here, and the chair will come to me. Anything I want. And something specific that I want in that garden of that palace, I want the fruits and vegetables to grow on that garden regardless of what season we are in and regardless of the weather. I want to eat watermelon in the middle of the winter. And the genie laughed and he said, "That's easy. I can do that. Close your eyes, and then when you open them, you'll find yourself in that palace that you were wishing for." So she did. Close her eyes, open them. Wow! A palace that is so beautiful and so magical. And it wasn't season for grapes, but guess what? She had grapes everywhere in the garden. And that garden is next door. And if she stood here in a balcony, she can see the window of the prince who used to be her husband. So one day she walked to the balcony and she looked and she saw a woman in the window. You know which woman is that? The niece, the red hair woman. So she knew that the prince, when he came back from Hajj, he married her. Yeah. What happened is when he came back from Hajj, he was really sad to know that his wife, Gatir Elnada, died. The mother lied to him. She showed him the grave. He stood there crying. He wouldn't leave. He just sat there near the grave and he wouldn't go inside the palace. And his mom and his dad tried time after time. He didn't care. It was raining on the top of his head. And he wouldn't eat, wouldn't drink, wouldn't move, just sat there under the rain and the storm, his hands on the grave and crying, wishing for her to come back alive again. Yeah, the poor prince. But then his mother asked the niece to become nice to him, to counsel him, to talk to him and take him out of his misery and make him feel better. Cook him his favorite food, talk to him, give him a pat on the shoulder, be a good friend. And she kept trying and trying and trying until the prince became friendly with her. And then, after a few months, the Sultan came and he said to his son, "We need you to get married. We need you to have a son because we want to pass the crown to the new generation. You can't stay like that forever, crying over a dead woman. What happened, happened. You can't bring her back. You have to get on with your life." And then the prince said, "Whatever you want, Daddy." And the mother said, "I have the bride for you, and she is the best of the best. My niece." And the prince said, "Whatever you think is right, Mom." And that's how he married her niece. Yeah. Now, Gatir Elnada is living next door, and she stands on the window every day to watch. She can see the prince coming back, going to his room, trying to be nice to his wife. He lived with her nicely because he's a gentleman, but he never ever loved her because his heart was always with Gatir Elnada. What's going to happen? That's what we're going to find out in the next episode of Gatir Elnada. But for now, I want you to go to bed and have the sweetest dreams. Good night, my loved ones.